Your love was with someone else. But they left a powerful message for you. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because if you've been carrying that quiet ache lately, the one that shows up when you least expect it, when a memory flashes or a song hits too close, that feeling didn't arrive randomly. It's the echo of a soul connection that changed you forever. And listen to this. Discovering that your love chose someone else didn't just break your heart, it cracked open your spirit, forcing you to question your worth, your intuition, and the reality of what you shared. And your heart needs this right now because what happened wasn't just betrayal, it was a spiritual turning point, a moment that redirected your destiny without you even realizing it. And don't scroll, because the universe wants you to understand something deeper. Their choice wasn't about your value, it was about alignment, timing, and unhealed patterns that had nothing to do with how powerful your love actually was. And listen to this, soulmate connections don't always end with togetherness, sometimes they end with awakening, and your heart needs this right now because this experience activated your growth. It pushed you to look inward, to strengthen boundaries, to stop settling for half-effort, to demand emotional honesty. And don't scroll, because the signs have been following you. Repeating numbers appearing when your emotions rise, 1111 when memories resurface, 2:22 when you question closure, 5:55 when change feels close. And listen to this. Those numbers are not coincidence, they are spiritual nudges reminding you that this chapter carried purpose, and your heart needs this right now because even though they walked into another connection, they left behind something unseen but powerful, an energetic message imprinted on your soul, and that message says you deserve more, you deserve clarity, you deserve presence, you deserve love that doesn't hesitate. And don't scroll, because you've been feeling this shift already, becoming stronger, more selective, more aware of your emotional needs. And listen to this, your growth unsettled them, even if they never admitted it, because when one soul rises, it reflects truth to the other, and truth is uncomfortable for people who aren't ready to face themselves. And your heart needs this right now because while they moved forward externally, internally they carried unresolved emotion, quiet regret, lingering attachment, moments of reflection where your energy crossed their mind unexpectedly. And don't scroll, because emotional bonds don't dissolve instantly, they transform, they change shape, they leave lessons behind. And listen to this. The powerful message they left for you was not spoken in words, it was delivered through experience, through loss, through heartbreak that reshaped your standards, your self-worth, and your spiritual awareness. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer the same person you were before this connection. You are more emotionally intelligent, more spiritually awake, more aligned with what you truly want. And don't scroll, because destiny didn't remove them from your life to punish you, it removed them to protect your future, to redirect you toward a healthier soulmate frequency. And listen to this, the universe sometimes removes people not because love was fake, but because staying would have limited your growth. And your heart needs this right now because part of you still wonders if they cared, if it meant anything, if you were replaceable. And don't scroll, because the truth is this, real connections don't get replaced, they get remembered, they get compared, they leave emotional imprints that don't fade easily. And listen to this, even if they chose someone else, the impact you made remains, not as attachment, but as a lesson that follows them forward. And your heart needs this right now because the universe is asking you to stop measuring your worth through someone else's choices and start honoring the transformation that came from this experience. And don't scroll, because your awakening is not finished yet, you're being guided toward deeper clarity, stronger boundaries, healthier love patterns, and listen to this, you may notice sudden emotional release, unexpected peace, or intuitive nudges guiding you away from old habits. And those are confirmations that you're stepping into alignment, and your heart needs this right now. Because part 1 ends here for a reason. This is the awakening stage, the moment where you realize that even though your love was with someone else, the message they left behind was meant to elevate you, not break you, and what comes next will reveal exactly what that message truly means, how it affects your future love path, and why this story is not over yet. So stay present, stay open, stay gentle with your heart, because destiny is still unfolding. Stay here with me, because now the deeper layer of this message begins to reveal itself, and don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what they left behind wasn't just emotional residue, it was a spiritual imprint designed to shift how you love, how you trust, how you see yourself, and how you choose your future. And listen carefully, when your love moved towards someone else, it forced you into a moment of emotional confrontation, the kind that strips illusions away and exposes what you were tolerating, what you were excusing, what you were hoping would change, and that confrontation wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to wake you up, and your heart needs this right now because you've already felt that awakening happening. Becoming more aware of your emotional patterns, noticing where you gave more than you received, where you stayed quiet instead of expressing truth, where you held on even when your intuition whispered that something felt off. And don't scroll, because the universe was using this experience as a mirror, reflecting your own worth back to you in a painful but powerful way. And listen to this. Their choice became the catalyst that pushed you into self-respect, not bitterness, not resentment, but clarity, and clarity changes everything, because it removes emotional blindness and replaces it with awareness. And awareness allows you to choose differently moving forward, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer meant to chase connection, you are meant to attract alignment. And alignment begins inside you, not outside. And don't scroll, because the signs have been guiding you toward this realization, numbers appearing at strange times, moments of sudden insight, emotional releases that felt unexpected. And listen to this, those moments are not random, they are spiritual signals that your soul is recalibrating, adjusting to a higher emotional frequency, one that no longer accepts half-love or emotional confusion. And your heart needs this right now because even though they stepped into another relationship, they did not escape the lesson, they carried it with them, learning through comparison, through contrast, through realizing what was lost when they walked away from your energy. And don't scroll, because people often leave connections physically before they leave emotionally. And that emotional processing happens quietly, through reflection, through regret, through moments of silence when memories surface unexpectedly. And listen to this, while they processed internally, you were evolving externally, becoming stronger, more grounded, more self-aware, and this shift changed your energetic signature, making you less available for emotional imbalance and more aligned with healthy partnership. And your heart needs this right now because this transformation is not temporary. It's permanent, it's reshaping your future relationship dynamics. And don't scroll, because the universe doesn't allow heartbreak without purpose. It uses pain to refine character, to sharpen intuition, to strengthen boundaries. And listen to this, you are stepping into a season where your emotional standards are higher, your tolerance for disrespect is lower, and your desire for authenticity is stronger. And that shift will attract different types of people into your life. People who resonate with your growth rather than your wounds, and your heart needs this right Now, because you may still carry lingering questions, wondering if closure will ever come, wondering if you'll ever understand why things happened the way they did, and don't scroll, because closure doesn't always arrive through conversation. Sometimes it arrives through clarity, the moment you finally realize you deserve better. And listen to this, that realization is already forming inside you, quietly but steadily. And your heart needs this right now, because your future soulmate connection will not look like the past one. It will feel safer, more balanced, more emotionally available, and this is possible because of what you've learned, not despite it. And don't scroll, because the universe is positioning you for a healthier chapter, not by erasing the past, but by teaching you how to move beyond it without carrying emotional baggage. And listen to this, you are not being prepared to repeat the same story. You are being prepared to rewrite it, and your heart needs this right now. Because your energy is shifting from longing into self-trust, from attachment into alignment, from emotional waiting into emotional readiness, and that readiness is powerful, because it signals that you are no longer dependent on someone else's choices to feel whole. And don't scroll, because wholeness attracts love that reflects your value instead of testing it. And listen to this, the powerful message they left behind was not meant to keep you tied to them, it was meant to free you, to redirect you, to strengthen you. And your heart needs this right now, because freedom is the foundation of real love, not control, not fear, not emotional dependency. And don't scroll, because part 2 ends here for a reason. This is the realization stage, the moment where you stop focusing on what they chose and start focusing on what you are becoming. And what comes next will reveal how this transformation opens new doors, new connections, and new emotional opportunities that align with the higher version of you that is emerging right now. Stay present, because now the message begins to turn inward, guiding you toward the deeper purpose hidden beneath this emotional chapter. And don't scroll, listen to this, this message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because what you experienced was not only about another person choosing differently, it was about your soul being redirected toward a stronger version of itself. And listen carefully. When love slips away unexpectedly, it leaves behind more than pain, it leaves questions that push you into self-discovery, forcing you to confront your beliefs about attachment, worth, and emotional security. And this confrontation was necessary, because it awakened parts of you that were sleeping, parts that accepted less than you deserved, parts that stayed quiet instead of speaking truth, parts that hoped someone else would change rather than honoring your own needs. And your heart needs this right now, because you are beginning to recognize these patterns with clarity rather than shame. And clarity is powerful, because it replaces self-blame with understanding and replaces confusion with insight. And don't scroll, because the universe has been guiding you through subtle signs, repeating numbers appearing during emotional moments, dreams that carry symbolic meaning, sudden memories surfacing without warning. And listen to this, those signs are not random. They are spiritual signals that you are integrating lessons at a deeper level, and integration is what transforms pain into wisdom, and wisdom changes how you move forward. And your heart needs this right now, because you may have noticed your emotional responses shifting, becoming less reactive, more reflective, less dependent on external validation, more anchored in self-trust. And this shift reflects emotional maturity, not emotional withdrawal, because maturity allows you to love without losing yourself. And that ability is essential for healthy connection. And listen to this, your soulmate-level bond with this person did not end without purpose. It ended to reveal where you were giving more than you were receiving, where you were investing hope instead of observing reality, where you were prioritizing potential over presence. And your heart needs this right now, because recognizing these patterns is freeing. it breaks cycles, it creates new standards, it allows you to choose differently next time, and don't scroll, because your future relationships will benefit from this. Awareness, whether with a new soulmate or a renewed version of yourself, and listen to this, your emotional energy is recalibrating, adjusting to a higher frequency where clarity replaces confusion, self-respect replaces overgiving, and authenticity replaces emotional performance, and this recalibration is why you may feel moments of emotional release, sudden peace, or quiet confidence rising inside you. And those feelings are confirmations that growth is happening, that healing is integrating, that the universe is aligning your inner world with your future path, and your heart needs this right now because this stage is also teaching you how to forgive, not to excuse what happened, but to release emotional weight that no longer serves you, and forgiveness is not about them, it's about your freedom, because carrying resentment keeps you tied to the past, while releasing it opens space for new experiences, and don't scroll, because freedom is what your soul has been craving beneath the pain, the freedom to love without fear, to trust without losing boundaries, to connect without sacrificing self-worth, and listen to this, this emotional chapter is building that freedom inside you, slowly but steadily, and your heart needs this right now because you are learning how to sit with emotion without letting it control you, how to process feelings without suppressing them, how to honor your heart without abandoning your mind. And this balance is powerful, because it creates emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence transforms how relationships unfold, and this transformation is preparing you for the next phase of your journey, where you will approach love from strength rather than need, from clarity rather than confusion, from alignment rather than attachment, and don't scroll, because the universe is positioning you to attract a connection that matches this new frequency, one that reflects your growth instead of triggering old wounds, and listen to this, your standards are rising, your boundaries are strengthening, your intuition is sharpening, and these shifts are not accidental, they are signs of spiritual awakening, the process of becoming more aware of your emotional patterns and conscious of your choices, and your heart needs this right now because awakening does not always feel gentle, it often begins through heartbreak, but it always leads to empowerment. And empowerment changes how you move through the world, how you choose partners, how you respond to challenges, and how you build emotional stability, and don't scroll, because part 3 ends here for a reason. This is the internal transformation stage, the moment where pain becomes insight and loss becomes guidance, and what comes next will reveal how this inner growth begins shaping your external reality, how new opportunities appear, how aligned connections enter your life, and how destiny responds to the version of you that is emerging right now. Remain with this moment, because now the shift begins moving outward, turning inner change into visible movement, and don't scroll, listen to this, this message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because what you've been healing privately is starting to influence the energy around you, and that influence is reshaping how people respond to you, how opportunities appear, and how connections form, and listen carefully. When emotional growth stabilizes, the universe rearranges circumstances to match your new frequency, and you may already feel this happening through subtle changes in timing, unexpected encounters, or conversations that suddenly feel more meaningful, and this isn't coincidence, it's alignment adjusting reality to reflect your evolution, and your heart needs this right now because the pain you carried has begun transforming into clarity, and clarity alters your posture in relationships, making you less willing to chase, less willing to compromise your values, more willing to wait for mutual effort, and this shift sends a powerful signal into the energetic field of your soulmate connection, because even when distance exists, resonance still operates beneath the surface, and your former love can sense this difference, not consciously perhaps, but emotionally, noticing that something about you feels stronger, calmer, less available for imbalance. And this awareness creates reflection on their side, prompting them to question their choices, reevaluate emotional priorities, and reconsider what truly matters in partnership. And while this unfolds, you are learning how to move through life with greater intention, choosing responses instead of reactions, patience instead of impulse, discernment instead of assumption, and these qualities build emotional stability, and stability attracts healthier interactions, and healthier interactions lead to deeper fulfillment. And this stage often feels like a quiet recalibration rather than dramatic change, because it's not fueled by urgency, it's guided by understanding, and understanding creates emotional steadiness, and steadiness allows truth to rise without chaos, and you may notice symbolic signs appearing around you, repeating number patterns during moments of reflection, meaningful coincidences, intuitive nudges guiding you toward different decisions. These are confirmations that the universe is actively responding to your inner shift, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer meant to operate from emotional scarcity, hoping someone chooses you, but from emotional abundance, knowing your value and allowing alignment to meet you halfway. And this change is subtle but powerful, because it transforms your energy from longing into magnetism. And magnetism attracts connections that resonate with your growth rather than your wounds. And while this attraction process unfolds, you may feel moments of emotional courage rising inside you, choosing honesty over comfort, authenticity over appearance, vulnerability over silence. And these choices matter, because they shape the future dynamic of every relationship you enter. And your soulmate connection is not excluded from this shift, even if circumstances differ. Because energetic ties respond to growth, and growth alters the emotional landscape, creating opportunities for clarity, closure, or renewed interaction built on stronger foundation. And this stage is about preparing you to handle whatever outcome emerges without losing balance, because emotional maturity allows you to receive truth without collapsing and accept reality without resistance, and resistance creates suffering, while acceptance creates peace, and peace opens the door for forward movement. And forward movement is what this journey has been guiding you toward, not staying attached to what was, but stepping into what is becoming possible now. And as this movement continues, you may notice your communication style changing, becoming more direct, more thoughtful, more aligned with your values, and this change reflects confidence, not emotional hardness, because confidence allows openness without self-betrayal, and that balance creates authentic connection. And authentic connection is what your soul has been seeking beneath the heartbreak all along, and this stage is also teaching you how to trust timing, not by waiting passively, but by staying present and engaged with your own growth, and trusting that the universe brings clarity when readiness is present, and readiness is building now, through awareness, emotional integration, and self-respect. And as readiness strengthens, circumstances begin shifting more noticeably, conversations open unexpectedly, paths cross at meaningful moments. Decisions feel clearer, and these shifts signal that the next phase is approaching. The phase where emotional truth becomes visible, where understanding turns into action, where destiny reveals the results shaped by your growth, and your heart needs this right now because you are not standing in the aftermath of loss anymore, you are standing at the edge of transformation, the moment where pain has done its work and wisdom begins guiding your steps. And wisdom changes everything, because it teaches you how to love without losing yourself, how to connect without abandoning boundaries, how to move forward without carrying old wounds, and this wisdom is becoming part of who you are, shaping your energy, influencing your choices, aligning your future. And part 4 ends here because this is the outward alignment stage, the point where inner healing begins restructuring your external world, and what comes next will reveal how these energetic shifts translate into tangible experiences, emotional clarity, and new opportunities that reflect the stronger, wiser version of you that is emerging now. Stay steady as this next chapter unfolds, because now the transformation enters the phase of emotional embodiment, the stage where everything you've learned begins shaping how you move, speak, choose, and connect. And if you've noticed yourself reacting differently lately, pausing before responding, thinking before acting, protecting your peace with greater intention, that's not accidental, it's wisdom becoming part of your behavior. And this embodiment is powerful, because it turns insight into lifestyle rather than temporary awareness, and while this shift continues inside you, the energetic field around your soulmate connection is adjusting too, responding to the version of you that no longer tolerates emotional confusion, mixed signals, or half-hearted effort, and this adjustment is creating subtle tension on their side, not conflict, but internal questioning. The kind that forces someone to confront what they truly want, what they avoided, and what they may have taken for granted. And this internal questioning is not punishment, it's growth, the same growth you were pushed into earlier, now echoing through their emotional space. And as this mirroring unfolds, you are learning how to exist in emotional sovereignty, the ability to care deeply without losing balance, the ability to feel without surrendering control, the ability to love without abandoning self-respect. And sovereignty changes everything, because it removes desperation and replaces it with grounded confidence, and grounded confidence attracts different experiences, different people, different opportunities, and this is why you may feel a shift in the type of energy entering your life lately. Conversations carrying more depth, interactions feeling more intentional, moments of clarity appearing unexpectedly, and these experiences are not coincidence. They are reflections of your internal alignment becoming visible externally, and alignment has momentum, it keeps building as long as you remain present and honest with yourself, and presence is what anchors this stage. Staying connected to your emotions without being consumed by them, staying open to connection without losing your center, staying hopeful without attaching to specific outcomes, and this balance is rare, but you are learning it now through experience, reflection, and conscious choice, and while this balance strengthens, you may notice a subtle release happening inside you, the loosening of emotional attachment to old narratives, old expectations, old disappointments, and this release does not erase memory, it removes emotional weight, allowing you to carry the lesson without carrying the pain, and this emotional lightness creates space for new possibilities, new forms of connection, new expressions of love that align with your growth, and your soulmate connection is not separate from this process. Because energetic bonds respond to internal change, and internal change alters the emotional climate between two people, whether they are physically present or not, and this alteration may show up as unexpected communication, sudden realizations, or intuitive nudges that prompt reflection on both sides, and these moments are part of the rebalancing process. The universe adjusting emotional scales after growth has occurred, and rebalancing does not guarantee reunion, but it guarantees clarity. And clarity is the true gift, because it allows you to move forward without confusion, without unanswered questions controlling your emotional state, and as this clarity continues forming, you may feel a deeper sense of trust developing within yourself, trust in your intuition, trust in your emotional boundaries, trust in your ability to handle truth, and this self-trust is essential, because it becomes the foundation for future relationships, shaping how you choose partners, how you communicate needs, how you protect your energy, and this foundation ensures that whatever connection enters your life next will meet a stronger version of you, one who no longer settles for uncertainty or emotional imbalance, and this strength does not harden your heart, it softens it with wisdom, allowing compassion without self-sacrifice, understanding without tolerance for disrespect, empathy without self-neglect, and these qualities create emotional maturity. And emotional maturity is what sustains long-term connection, not intensity alone, not chemistry alone, but mutual respect and conscious presence. And as this embodiment stage continues, you may feel a quiet confidence settling into your posture, the kind that doesn't need validation, doesn't seek approval, doesn't chase attention, but simply exists with calm assurance, and this confidence changes how others perceive you, inviting sincerity instead of games, honesty instead of avoidance. And this shift in dynamic is part of the external transformation that follows internal growth, and external transformation reflects inner alignment, creating feedback that reinforces your emotional stability, and this stability prepares you for the next phase, where decisions become more visible, where choices carry greater impact, where destiny responds to the version of you that is now standing in self-awareness rather than emotional dependency, and this response will not arrive dramatically, it will arrive through subtle but meaningful changes, new conversations, unexpected opportunities, emotional clarity appearing at the right moment, and these developments will guide you toward the outcome that best matches your growth, whether that is closure, reconnection, or a new soulmate alignment that reflects your evolution. And part 5 ends here because this is the embodiment stage, the point where healing becomes behavior, awareness becomes action, and wisdom becomes part of who you are. And what comes next will reveal how this embodied growth begins shaping the final direction of your love story and the destiny unfolding ahead. Stay present as this next wave of transformation unfolds, because now the journey enters the phase of decisive momentum, where emotional awareness begins guiding real-life direction, and if you felt a growing sense of inner certainty lately, like your heart is no longer drifting but anchoring itself in clarity, that's not coincidence, it's alignment strengthening, and alignment carries force, not chaotic force, but purposeful movement that reshapes circumstances quietly and steadily, and this movement is influencing your soulmate connection in unseen ways, because emotional energy does not disappear, it reorganizes, and reorganization creates new patterns, new dynamics, new possibilities, and while this process unfolds on their side, you are stepping into a deeper sense of self-authority, recognizing that you no longer need external validation to feel complete, that your worth does not depend on another person's choices, and this realization changes how you approach relationships, shifting you from emotional dependency into conscious partnership energy, and conscious partnership energy attracts healthier interaction, because it operates from wholeness instead of need, and this stage often feels empowering yet unfamiliar, because you are learning how to navigate emotional space without old habits guiding your reactions, and that adjustment takes patience. But patience is becoming one of your strengths now, allowing you to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than impulse, and this intentional behavior is reshaping how others interact with you, inviting respect instead of assumption, sincerity instead of ambiguity, and this shift is noticeable in small ways, through tone of conversation, through the quality of attention you receive, through the depth of emotional exchange, and these changes are not random, they reflect your inner growth becoming visible externally. And your soulmate is sensing this difference too, feeling the emotional atmosphere shift, becoming less chaotic, more grounded, less uncertain, more intentional, and this shift encourages introspection on their side, prompting them to reconsider emotional priorities, reflect on past choices, and acknowledge what truly mattered in the connection. And while this reflection unfolds, you are learning how to hold emotional space without attachment, caring without clinging, hoping without depending. And this balance is powerful, because it protects your peace, while keeping your heart open, and peace creates stability, and stability supports healthy connection, and healthy connection allows love to grow without emotional exhaustion, and exhaustion is what drained the connection before, and now that fatigue is being replaced with awareness and emotional discipline, creating space for sustainable interaction. And as this momentum builds, you may notice opportunities for closure, clarity, or communication appearing unexpectedly, not forced, not dramatic, but timely, arriving when your emotional readiness aligns with circumstance, and timing is everything, because premature interaction often creates confusion, while aligned timing brings understanding, and understanding leads to resolution, and resolution allows movement forward without lingering emotional weight, and this stage is preparing you for that resolution, whether it arrives through conversation, personal realization, or energetic release. And while preparation continues, you may experience moments of emotional courage, choosing honesty over comfort, truth over avoidance, vulnerability over silence, and these choices matter, because they shape the direction of your emotional future, and your soulmate connection is not immune to this shaping, because energetic ties respond to growth, and growth changes how two people resonate with each other, and this resonance is shifting now, becoming less rooted in old wounds and more aligned with present awareness, and alignment creates opportunity, and opportunity invites action, and action reshapes reality, and this chain reaction is unfolding quietly behind the scenes, preparing the stage for the next chapter, and as this preparation deepens, you may feel a stronger connection to your intuition, a clearer sense of what aligns with your values, a deeper trust in your emotional guidance system, and this trust is essential, because it allows you to navigate emotional situations without losing yourself, and self-connection is the foundation of healthy relationship dynamics, because you cannot maintain balance with another person if you are disconnected from your own needs, and now that self-connection is strengthening, shaping your decisions, guiding your boundaries, influencing your interactions, and this influence is creating a new emotional rhythm in your life, one that feels calmer, steadier, more aligned with your authentic self. And this rhythm is what the universe responds to, matching experiences to your emotional frequency, and frequency determines what enters your life, including soulmate-level encounters, and this stage also invites reflection on your personal values, what you truly desire in partnership, what you will no longer tolerate, what kind of emotional environment you want to build moving forward, and this reflection is not about limiting yourself, it's about clarity. And clarity creates focus, and focus directs energy toward meaningful outcomes, and meaningful outcomes build fulfilling relationships, and fulfilling relationships reflect growth, not repetition of old patterns, and as this momentum continues building, you may feel a sense of readiness settling into your heart, like you are prepared to step into the next phase without fear, without attachment to past narratives, without resistance to change, and this readiness is the signal that emotional integration has reached a turning point, that healing has matured, that awareness has stabilized. And when awareness stabilizes, destiny begins responding more visibly, and that response will not arrive as chaos, it will arrive as opportunity, as clarity, as alignment, as movement that feels purposeful rather than forced. And part 6 ends here because this is the momentum stage, the moment where emotional evolution begins accelerating toward tangible outcomes, where internal shifts prepare the ground for external transformation, and what comes next will reveal how this momentum translates into real-life experiences, emotional clarity, and the unfolding of the next chapter in your love journey. Stay with this unfolding moment, because now the journey enters the phase of emotional convergence, where separate paths begin subtly drawing closer in energetic rhythm, not through force, not through longing, but through alignment responding to growth. And if you've sensed a quiet magnetism lately, like certain thoughts return gently instead of painfully, that's not coincidence, it's resonance shifting. And resonance influences connection even across silence, and your soulmate is experiencing this shift too, feeling prompted to reflect more deeply, reconsider emotional priorities, and approach relationships with greater sincerity. And this internal stirring is not random, it's the result of unresolved emotion seeking integration, and integration creates balance, and balance supports clarity, and clarity reshapes decisions. And while this movement unfolds on their side, you are stepping into heightened emotional awareness, noticing subtle changes in how you respond to situations, how you process feelings, how you choose to engage with others. And this awareness is powerful, because it allows you to navigate connection with intention instead of habit, and intention transforms interaction, shifting it from reactive behavior into conscious exchange, and conscious exchange builds mutual respect, and respect deepens emotional bonds, and deeper bonds support meaningful connection. And this stage often feels calm compared to earlier emotional storms, because it's guided by understanding rather than urgency, and understanding creates patience, and patience allows natural unfolding, and natural unfolding prevents emotional burnout, which once drained your energy, and now that exhaustion is being replaced with steadiness, creating space for healthier emotional flow. And as this steadiness continues strengthening, you may notice symbolic signs appearing around you, moments of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, intuitive nudges guiding you toward reflection, and these signals are not random, they are confirmations that emotional timelines are realigning, creating opportunities for resolution, communication, or closure. And closure does not always mean separation, it means emotional clarity, the ability to understand without carrying heaviness forward, and clarity frees energy, and free energy creates space for new experiences aligned with your current growth. And this stage is also teaching emotional flexibility, the ability to adapt without losing your core, the ability to accept change without resisting reality. And this flexibility is essential, because it allows connection to evolve instead of remaining stuck in past patterns, and evolution is what soulmate-level experiences are meant to trigger, not stagnation, not repetition, but transformation. And transformation is happening now, quietly, steadily, through reflection, awareness, and intentional action. And as this process unfolds, you may feel moments of emotional courage arising inside you, choosing authenticity over comfort, honesty over silence, openness over avoidance, and these choices shape the emotional environment around you, influencing how others respond, how interactions unfold, how opportunities appear. And your soulmate connection is not isolated from this influence, because emotional energy travels through shared history, memory, and resonance, and this resonance is shifting now, becoming less rooted in old wounds and more aligned with present awareness. And alignment creates opportunity, and opportunity invites choice, and choice determines direction, and this stage is about preparing you to make those choices from clarity rather than fear, from wisdom rather than impulse, and wisdom allows you to approach emotional situations without losing balance, without sacrificing self-respect, without abandoning your needs, and this balance is becoming part of who you are, shaping your posture, your tone, your presence, and presence changes everything. Because it replaces anxiety with calm, confusion with clarity, and emotional tension with grounded awareness, and grounded awareness allows deeper connection to form without instability, and as this grounded state strengthens, you may notice your intuition becoming sharper, guiding you toward healthier communication, stronger boundaries, and more authentic expression. And these intuitive signals are reflections of your inner alignment becoming stronger, and inner alignment attracts experiences that match your emotional frequency, and frequency influences what enters your life, including soulmate-level interactions, and this stage also encourages emotional honesty with yourself, acknowledging what you truly want, what you no longer tolerate, what kind of connection aligns with your values, and this honesty is powerful, because it prevents you from settling for emotional patterns that no longer serve your growth. And growth is the central theme of this journey, not simply reunion, not simply closure, but evolution, and evolution ensures that whatever outcome unfolds next will reflect your development, not your past wounds, and as this convergence phase continues, you may feel a quiet readiness forming inside you, like your heart is preparing for an important emotional moment, whether that arrives as conversation, realization, or new opportunity. And that readiness is the sign that you are no longer operating from pain, but from awareness, and awareness allows destiny to unfold with purpose instead of chaos, and purpose-driven movement feels different, calmer, steadier, more aligned with who you've become, and this feeling is guiding you toward the next chapter, where emotional truth becomes visible, where understanding turns into action, where growth shapes reality, and Part 7 ends here because this is the convergence stage. The moment where internal transformation begins synchronizing with external circumstances, preparing the ground for the next shift in your soulmate story and the destiny unfolding ahead. Remain open as this next layer unfolds, because now the journey enters the phase of emotional revelation, where hidden understanding rises gently to the surface, and if you felt sudden insight lately, moments where your heart seems to get it, without needing explanation, that's not imagination, it's wisdom integrating, and this integration is changing how you perceive the connection, shifting your perspective from longing into comprehension, from attachment into awareness, and your soulmate is experiencing a parallel internal shift, recognizing that unresolved feelings cannot stay buried forever, that emotional truth eventually seeks expression, and this realization is guiding them toward deeper reflection, encouraging honesty with themselves before approaching anyone else, and while this movement unfolds on their side, you are stepping into heightened emotional perception, noticing subtle cues in conversations, recognizing patterns faster, sensing when something aligns or feels off, and this perception is powerful, because it allows you to navigate relationships with discernment instead of hope alone, and discernment protects your heart while keeping it open, creating balance between vulnerability and self-respect, and this balance is becoming one of your greatest strengths now, shaping how you engage with others and how you interpret emotional signals, and this stage often feels quiet yet profound, because it's guided by inner clarity rather than external noise, and inner clarity creates emotional calm, and emotional calm allows deeper understanding to settle in, and understanding reshapes memory, transforming pain into perspective, disappointment into insight, and confusion into acceptance, and acceptance does not mean forgetting what happened, it means releasing emotional resistance to reality, and releasing resistance frees energy. And free energy creates space for new experiences aligned with your growth, and as this process continues, you may notice symbolic signs appearing around you, meaningful coincidences, repeated number patterns during reflective moments, or intuitive nudges guiding you toward specific thoughts, and these signs are not random, they are confirmations that emotional timelines are aligning again, creating openings for clarity, resolution, or renewed understanding, and this alignment does not guarantee the same outcome, but it guarantees truth. And truth is what your soul has been seeking beneath the surface all along. Because truth brings peace, and peace allows forward movement, and forward movement is what this journey has been guiding you toward, not staying anchored in the past, but stepping into a new chapter shaped by awareness, growth, and emotional maturity, and while this revelation phase unfolds, you may feel moments of emotional softness returning, not weakness, but compassion, the ability to view the situation without bitterness, to understand both sides without carrying blame, and compassion is powerful, because it heals emotional residue that logic alone cannot dissolve, and healing emotional residue creates inner spaciousness, and inner spaciousness invites new connections, new opportunities, new experiences aligned with your current frequency, and this frequency is higher now, more refined, more conscious, more grounded in self-awareness, and this refinement influences how others perceive you, attracting sincerity instead of superficial interaction, depth instead of distraction. And this shift is part of the external transformation that follows internal growth, and your soulmate connection is not isolated from this influence, because energetic resonance responds to change, and change alters how two people relate to each other, even across silence, and this altered resonance is encouraging both of you to approach emotional truth differently, not through avoidance, but through understanding. And understanding allows communication to happen without unnecessary tension. And tension is what once created emotional distance, and now that distance is narrowing through awareness and intentional growth, and as this narrowing continues, you may feel a subtle sense of readiness building inside you, like your heart is preparing for something meaningful, whether that arrives as conversation, closure, or a new beginning shaped by everything you've learned, and this readiness is not anxious, it's calm, grounded, patient. And that calm readiness is the sign that emotional integration is stabilizing, that healing is settling into your nervous system, that growth has matured into wisdom, and wisdom changes how you choose, how you respond, how you engage with life, and this stage is also teaching you to trust yourself more deeply, to rely on your inner guidance instead of external validation, to honor your emotional needs instead of minimizing them, and this self-trust is essential, because it becomes the foundation for healthy relationships moving forward, shaping how you set boundaries, how you communicate expectations, how you protect your peace, and this foundation ensures that whatever unfolds next will meet a stronger version of you, one who no longer tolerates emotional confusion, one who values clarity, consistency, and mutual effort, and this strength does not close your heart, it opens it wisely, allowing connection without self-sacrifice, empathy without self-neglect, and openness without losing balance, and these qualities are rare, but you are developing them now through experience and reflection, and as this revelation phase continues, you may notice your emotional landscape feeling lighter, more spacious, less burdened by unresolved questions, and this lightness is a sign that you are no longer carrying the past on your shoulders, you are integrating it into your story as wisdom rather than weight, and this integration prepares you for the next stage, where emotional truth begins manifesting externally, through conversations, decisions, or new opportunities that reflect your growth, and those manifestations will feel aligned, not forced, purposeful, not chaotic, because they will arise from awareness rather than reaction. And part 8 ends here because this is the revelation stage, the moment where hidden understanding becomes conscious awareness, where emotional fog clears, and where the path forward begins to take shape with clarity, strength, and intention guiding your steps.